Hi everyone, so I have joined politics. No, I'm just kidding. I'm wearing this vest because अंदर से कुर्ता iron नहीं है. And my mom watches my videos. She says ऐसे ही खड़े हो जाते हो, इतने लोग वीडियो देखते हैं and you don't get time to iron your clothes. So yeah, so therefore wearing this vest. So okay, back to topic. So on today's video, I'm going to help you understand by using some examples of when you should be selling your stocks. Many a times you get like, you hear influencers and you hear like people, यार ये stock खरीद लो, वो stock खरीद लो. खरीदना आसान होता है, but you don't know when to sell stocks. So I thought that I will cover this topic. I will at least tell you some of the basics. I will pick some examples of where I have sold my stocks, which specific stocks have I sold and why. I will present those case studies in front of you. So hopefully by picking this knowledge, you will be able to refine your portfolio. So do press the like button so that these type of fundamental videos reach out to more people and we will kickstart. I know that you haven't pressed the like button. So do press the like button and we will kickstart the video. So let me take a minute here to talk about something different, which has to do with the hair fall industry. This industry in India is growing at a rapid rate of 28%. And there is a company called as Traya, which is doing an amazing work in this space. And they are the sponsors of today's video. Now, many healthcare brands make misleading claims that, that they have launched their product and that product is going to cure all your problems. Now, think about it that these type of claims are slightly misleading because one product might not be able to solve all your problems. Traya is doing something different in this space, that they help you identify the root cause of your hair fall problems. They do this by helping you take a simple hair test. Then they build a customized doctor approved treatment plan for you. And most importantly, they set the expectation right. Now there are several stages to your hair fall. And if your hair fall stage is beyond 5, then you need a hair transplant and that becomes really expensive. So in case such a situation is there, then Traya will tell you that they can't help you out. So they are very clear in terms of what they can help you with versus what they cannot. So in order to understand this better, what you need to do is that you need to follow this 3-step process. Number 1, go to traya.health and take the free hair test. Number 2, get 1 month customized plan built for you. Number 3, start your journey with a free diet plan and a hair coach. You can use my code AS20 to get a 20% off on their services, and you can find the links to this on the description and comment box. Please note that this offer is only valid for the next 5 days. So with that said, let's move over to the main video. Now, fundamentally speaking, there could be numerous reasons for selling a stock. Now, I can't cover every single reason here. So I will take you through some of the checklist and some of the key reasons here. So see, first and foremost reason for selling a stock could be that there are red flags associated with a company. A company घपलेबाजी करती रहती है, right? हमेशा न्यूज़ में बनी रहती है. There are दुनिया भर की problems with the company. So these are called as red flags, corporate governance issues वगैरह वगैरह. So if that company is usually, sort of dicey, so you should first and foremost not enter such companies. But if you have entered such a company and if red flag issues comes up, then though first and foremost the stock price will fall quite aggressively. That is not the right time to panic sell it. Okay, wait and watch, it will come back up a little bit, then figure out a way to sell it. But generally, right, if a company consistently displays these red flag tendencies, so to say, you should cut these type of stocks from your portfolio whenever you get an opportunity. Okay, so this is point 1. Point 2, if the industry itself is not a growth industry, or if the rate of growth of that industry is fairly slow. Now, कई बार कह के भाग जाते हैं लोग, right? कि अच्छा, don't invest in like industry which is not growing this, that. But what is the meaning of it? So let me quickly explain. See, very simply put, in India, the typical inflation is roughly 6%. Inflation means price increase, okay? And cost of capital, the rate at which the companies borrow capital, that is around, again, 6 to 8%. It can go up also depending on the company at play. So if a company cannot grow at around at least 12%, then there is no point in investing in that business, company or industry. Now a company grows because it is better than the industry. For example, IT industry ki growth, hypothetically speaking, is happening at 8%, but some good company is there, it is growing at 12%. So that's a good company. On the flip side, what happens is that there are some high growth industries. For example, AI is growing at a massive rate. Credit debit card industry is growing at a massive rate. That is one of the reasons why I've picked something like SBI cards, because the growth rate of the industry itself is very, very high. Okay. So I hope that you got this perspective that what is the meaning of slow growth. So slow growth from an industry point of view would be, I would say that anything less than like 8% growth would be considered as a slow growth industry in India. So generally, whenever you get an opportunity, cut these stocks. Third, if a company has some firm specific issues. This could be that revenues are not growing, right? So that's a issue. The company might be losing market share. The profits are not growing, right? So all these could be firm specific issues. Fourth could be that you have lost confidence. आपके अंदर holding power ही नहीं है, right? Now this is like a funny point that, for example, I sometimes give like commentary on my YouTube member community, and people ask me questions also. So I spoke about on one of my posts about HDFC Bank, Page Industries, all this stuff that I'm aggregating, building positions, all that. Someone purchased the stock and then next day यार HDFC बैंक तो यार 1% गिर गया, so I am losing patience with this stock. भाई, if you do not have confidence on these type of good stocks also, then you cannot even invest in like direct stocks. You should stop directly investing in the stock market. I am telling it for your own benefit. This stock might hurt a little bit, but see, you need to have like confidence in your bets, because if you don't have confidence, you will not be able to hold stock. Now, what is the meaning of confidence? Very simply put, it means कि भाई इतना तो confidence होना चाहिए कि that you are able to digest at a notional loss of 10%, 15%, because 10-15% loss on any stock can happen anytime. Okay, so I hope you see that from the right spirit. Okay. Fifth point, that you don't understand what is happening, right? For example, right now I get so many questions that what IT industry में क्या चल रहा है? The Infosys CEO said कि growth projections खराब हो गए, right? Other companies are saying something else. If you are not able to understand this issue comprehensively, then sell your stock in that particular industry. Otherwise, develop an understanding. Now, if you want to develop an understanding, then I give market commentary on my member community channel. I'm also going to do a class this Sunday. You can consider checking that out as well. I teach things fundamentally. You yourself will get the benefit. You yourself will develop the acumen of managing your own portfolio if you understand these topics holistically. One quick question that I keep on getting from students, working professionals is कि यार अक्षर टाइम नहीं होता हमारे पास कि जॉब भी कर लें, स्टॉक मार्केट के बारे में पढ़ लें, न्यूज़ भी पढ़ लें, and all this stuff. See, no one is expecting you to become like a market maestro. Okay, you need to develop like basic common sense to manage your own portfolio. That is the most important point. And these days what is happening is that even if you go to a doctor, if you are uneducated about health, so to say, that you are clueless, भाई बीमारी हो गई मैं बता दो, right? So that is not the right approach. You need to understand health, take charge of it. Similarly, you need to understand your wealth, take charge of it. It's completely okay to work via money managers, but develop that understanding. So I help you develop that through my course, through my YouTube member community. If you're a serious investor, do definitely go check it out. At least on this point, it can definitely help you. So okay, so with these fundamentals out of the way, let us go stock specific and let us discuss a few quick examples. Okay, so the first stock that I've sold completely now is Reliance. Now you will say, okay, why have you sold Reliance? Because I keep on seeing like, Reliance is growing at a crazy rate. I'm using so many Reliance products. If I look at the sales number, profit numbers, all-time high profits, all-time high sales. So why is it that you have sold Reliance? Okay, so there are 4 or 5 key reasons. Let me try to take you through all of them. So the first key reason is that, see, from a valuation point of view, the PE of the stock is in a downward trend. Now, what is the meaning of PE of the stock is in a downward trend? So, okay, so let me open up the chart and show this to you. So if you check this, the stock PE is making a lower highs. For example, this high is higher than this high, then this high is higher than this high, so on and so forth. So this is called as making lower highs, so to say. What is going to happen is that Reliance stock, at least as of now, it seems like that it is trying to get re-rated. Now, what is the meaning of re-rated? मैं आपको example से बताता हूँ. For example, after 2020 or during 2020, there was cheap debt in the economy. So Reliance, other big conglomerates, Adani ji, Ambani ji, all of them raised a lot of money, right? आपने देखा होगा कि Silver Lake Capital and Facebook and Google and पता नहीं कौन-कौन सी company से Reliance got into a partnership. They also took a lot of debt. Same happened with Adani stock also, that they ended up procuring a lot of capital. Why? Because of 2 reasons. One is that the debt was cheap, right? It was not expensive because the interest rate themselves were very, very low. Second was that all these companies, Adani and Ambani, they were trying to build like 1 business, 2 business, 3 business, 4th business, telecom bhi kar lenge, वगैरह 50 चीजें, right? So what was happening is that they were expanding quite rapidly. In Reliance's case, for example, they were trying to migrate from oil business to geo business. Now geo is a tech business, or could be considered a tech, I don't know. And this is a pure oil business. Now oil is what type of a product? It's a commodity, right? It's not as if that तेल की कीमतें नहीं बढ़ेंगी and Reliance के profits are going to keep going up and up. That is not going to be the case. The fortunes of Reliance in a way were tied to oil. Now what has happened is that they have transitioned to being Jio. Now what exactly is Jio doing? One could argue telecom, one could do digital streaming and bunch of different things, right? So they are transitioning towards tech. Now are they going to compete against Google, Facebook, high-end tech? No, not even close. They don't have that IP, so to say, but they are very good in execution. Now I'm telling you all this story is that because Reliance transition from being oil to Jio, there was a re-rating of the PE of the stock. So re-rating means that, for example, आप यहाँ पे देखो, so typically the PE of the stock used to be around like 15-16, right? And then post 2020 it moved all the way to 35. Now there is re-rating again of the stock that is happening. Now whenever a stock gets re-rated or whenever the PE is getting crushed, प्रॉफिट बना लो, रेवेन्यू बना लो, कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ता बिकॉज दिस वॉज सेंटिमेंट ड्रिवन, दिस एंटायर थिंग. नाउ इट इज कमिंग डाउन. नाउ आई डोंट नो टिल व्हाट पॉइंट इट विल कम डाउन, व्हाट द करेक्ट PE ऑफ द स्टॉक इज. आई कांट कॉमेंट ऑन दैट, बट डेफिनेटली इट इज नॉट 35, राइट? इट इज गोइंग डाउन एंड इट कैन कंटिन्यू टू गो डाउन. इट माइट रीच 20 and if in that case, if that happens, then there is a good 20% correction that might happen. Can I be wrong? 100% I can be wrong. Please listen to this part again. I'll say it again. 100% I can be wrong. But this is the first reason why I am not bullish on Reliance. Second key point why I am not bullish on Reliance. अच्छा, उससे पहले एक बात और बता दूं. Now see, the reason why there was PE re-rating of Reliance in 2020 when the PE expanded was because of the fact that everyone started believing that Reliance will become the biggest tech player, right? But unfortunately, if you study the business model of Reliance now, it is not tech, right? It is literally like monopoly building across different segments. That's what they are doing. It's not like complete tech per se, right? So please understand that tech valuation, it can't command. That's the simple point that I'm saying, and that is what market is also telling us. Second reason why I'll not invest in Reliance, it has to do with investor holding. And what is the meaning of investor holding? You can see that promoters here have almost 50% holding. People get agitated with me, yeah, Reliance and Ambani's, Adani's, you keep on speaking like negative things. I have nothing against them. I am an investor. I am entitled to invest my own money wherever I deem it to be fit. Now see, what ends up happening is that if the promoters are holding a lot of power in a conglomerate business, right? So promoters in a conglomerate business. For example, Adani, Ambani's, what do they have? A, B, C, D. So many different companies are there. Now, if the money has to be moved from company A to B, can it be done? Yes. इसमें shareholding pattern suggests that, right? Both decisions can happen. B से C में, yes. C से D में, yes, right? So all this money moving cycle can take place from business A to B to C to D, right? So what ends up happening is that understanding the conglomerate becomes really tough. Second, these people have so much vested power in that particular conglomerate that you will not get the real picture out. There are companies, for example, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, those are professionally managed companies, right? Professionally managed का मतलब क्या होता है? Independent directors. People have voting rights, so to say, democracy होती है, right? And the goal of the entire board is to generate more wealth for the shareholder. Here, this is not the case. Now, I'll not, sort of enter onto this stuff of corporate governance because everyone can have their own viewpoint. My viewpoint on this stock from a long-term perspective is this. Therefore, I'm out. I have no interest in sort of taking very long-term bets. And I will get very iffy if I'm holding Reliance and it falls by like 15%. I would really start questioning that will I be even able to hold it? And since I cannot hold it from a long term, I have done my swing. I have made my 9-10% very quick gains and I am out. Now the third issue that I see with Reliance is that Reliance is partnering up with very big players. Now this, at the time the news comes out, for example, you might have seen that they have partnered with BlackRock. And I think a bunch of tech players also they have partnered with Google, Facebook, all these different companies, Silver Rig Partners and all this, right? So these are big investors in Reliance now. Now what ends up happening is that these are FIIs. They can sell their position in bulk very quickly. For example, BlackRock had partnered with DSP in 2018 for their mutual fund business. Then they sold their holding in this. Now they have partnered with Reliance. Now आपको लगता है कि BlackRock will not sell their holdings in Reliance someday. They will. Once the stock has moved enough up or it has given them them enough gains, they might exit that business. So since Reliance is currently in the process of demerging its business, it's much better to study individual businesses rather than taking conglomerate bets. So for these reasons, I'm out of Reliance. Now the second and third stock that I've sold are Relaxo and Bata. Now both are footwear stocks in a way, and let me very quickly talk about the footwear industry and then I will go stock specific as to why I have sold these. So number one, let me show you 2-3 graphics, and the first graphic you will be able to see from here, and it says that the growth rate of the footwear market in India is roughly 4.84%. बहुत अच्छा growth rate नहीं है. It's like average growth rate industry, so not very high. So that's problem one. Problem two, if you actually study that which space within footwear is actually growing, you will see leather, right? So leather segment is growing. Now ask yourself, why is the leather segment growing? Well, the answer is that because leather is slight more luxury, right? कि leather के जूते थोड़े से expensive होते हैं, leather की चप्पल are more expensive than other synthetic type of material. So from that perspective, leather है क्या? Leather is ultimately a indication of luxury in the footwear space. So to cut the long story short, if you extend this argument, then what is likely to happen in the footwear space going forward? Number one, more money is going to be made in the luxury segment. Cost competitiveness के हिसाब से जो सस्ता माल बेचने वाली कंपनियां हैं. So it's not as if that segment is going to grow at a much faster rate. So that is a major problem. And second is more India specific issue that is happening. That see, top 10% are aggregating a lot of wealth. Products that are designed for them, systems, processes that are designed for them, those are functioning really well, right? But if you come down to the bottom 90%, उनके खाने के लाले पड़े हुए हैं, right? That unfortunately is the case. I am not trying to make this topic political, but आप अपने around ही देख लो, you see it around yourself. You yourself will be able to ascertain those points. So from that perspective, if we relate this knowledge to the footwear market in India, very simple कि the companies that are likely to do well in the future, at least my hypothesis would be, they would be able to sell slightly luxury products, right? So let us bring back this conversation to Relaxo and Bata. Let's speak about Relaxo first. See, Relaxo, the reason why Relaxo's brand presence grew quite extensively was that they were taking market share away from unorganized sector to organized sector. But in what segment? Was it luxury segment? The answer is no, not luxury segment at all. They were not like in leather segment and all that stuff. So number one, the sub segment of the footwear industry in which Relaxo is operational, that is not luxury segment to begin with. So the growth rate of this industry is very slow to begin with. That's problem one. Problem two is, and this you can see from the quarterly data. So I am opening it up in front of you. You will see that sales have gone up. It's not as if that sales mein problem hai, right? But if you check the profits, that has not moved much, right? Why is that the case? Because the operating profit margins, which used to be like 22% and all that stuff, after 2020, it has literally shrunk to half, right? So this is a big problem. Now, why is this happening? Well, very simply put, this is happening because Relaxo has no pricing power. Now, pricing power means कि मान लो 200 की चप्पल बेचते थे, right? Can they sell it now at 250 rupees? They can't because their customer base is not accepting that. So they have to take a hit on the operating profit margin. That's it. HUL on the other end has massive pricing power. They keep on increasing their product prices at like 15%, 20%, 25%. प्राइस नहीं बढ़ा पाते तो भाई जब श्रिंकफ्लेशन कर देते हैं कि शैम्पू बॉटल यूज टू कम एट लाइक हाइपोथेटिकली स्पीकिंग 200 ml, now it is coming at like 180 ml. You would not even notice it, pay the same price only. But by playing that game, HUL has been able to add additional OPM to their margins. So right, so from that perspective, it is very difficult for Relaxo, given the segment in which it is operational, to continue to maintain this OPM. Now this situation is unlikely to go away for them unless they are able to move to a high margin product. So they are trying to move to slightly more pricey products. Now we don't know if Relaxo will be able to maintain its margins in that area or not. So I was looking for a good opportunity to exit Relaxo, and recently it has given a little bit of run up, so I was able to exit it. I made the announcements also in the member community, and again requesting all of you that if you are a serious investor, do consider checking out the member community. You will learn a lot. So okay, so with that out of the way, let me have a very quick conversation on Bata, because Bata to luxury items थोड़े से बेच लेता है, right? I mean, they have like leather slippers, leather shoes, all that. Okay, 100% agree. But see, the problem in luxury segment is that it needs to be slightly exclusive. Why do you think that Apple is doing really well? Because there is a sense of exclusivity in Apple products. that is there. अब वो है नहीं है, that's a separate thing, but there is like that association with the brand कि यार Apple means luxury product. I see people getting in line when Apple is launching a new product, so those kind of things keep on happening. So that's an indication of luxury. I've never seen Bata doing it, that's A. Second is that if you actually study the youth of India right now, sneaker culture is developing in India, right? So they will take away market share in the luxury segment, definitely. That will happen. It's not necessarily leather segment, but it is definitely luxury. Leather is a proxy for luxury, right? For example, if you consider other niche brands, so I can't speak too many brands, but net बहुत सारी luxury leather shoes के brands हैं. You guys are smarter, you guys are more attuned to the fashion world, so you guys can comment. There are a lot of niche players in the leather shoes space also, leather shoes sandal space, and those are doing fairly well. So they will continue to chip away at the market share of Bata. So it is given that going forward that Bata is likely to lose some space in the luxury segment. That is very, very likely to happen. So from that perspective, long term, I don't see like very strong prospect. बढ़ जाएगा. I'm not saying that it will not grow, but there are other better bets in the market. So therefore, I have completely exited even Bata as well. Okay, so let me move on to industry number 3 or stock number 3, which are IT stocks. I have not cut my position. I'm just talking about IT from the point of view that should you be cutting your position? According to me, no. I have actually built my position fairly recently on the entire IT index. I'm not cutting my IT index. I'll explain you the reason also. So recently, you must have heard a lot of noise around the fact कि यार Infosys के results आए, CEO ने तो गंदी बात बोल दी, right? He said कि growth prospects, we are like guidance, we have cut this, that, and there was mass panic, right? A lot of people said कि खत्म, अब तो वही IT बचेगी, right? Now, see guys, what ends up happening is that when you read these type of news, and by the time you go to your account to sell your stocks, that news has already been factored into it, right? So if there is a fall in the market, वो 3-4 दिन पहले से शुरू हो जाता है, आपको पता भी नहीं चलता कि why is the stock falling. So from that perspective, selling at the time of bad news a particular stock, that is not a very healthy decision in most of the circumstances. That's it. Second is that see, don't sell stocks when they are in a negative sentiment, because वो तो हिट कर ही गए ना, राइट? आई मीन इट्स बेटर टू कीप होल्डिंग इट. दैट एंटायर थिंग हैज बीन फैक्टर्ड इन. नाउ सी, स्टडी द इंडस्ट्री सेंसिबली. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट किसी ग्रोथ क्या होगी एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड. आई एम नॉट वेरी बुलिश ऑन IT सेक्टर टू बिगिन विद. देन यू विल से कि अच्छा खरीद क्यों लिया आपने, तो ओके, आई विल स्पीक अबाउट इट इन अ मिनट. सो फ्रॉम अ टेक्निकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, दिस चैनल इज बीइंग फॉलोड. वी आर समवेयर हियर राइट नाउ. And let's assume worst case scenario that, you know what, the stock falls and it goes outside this channel. The point is that you're still, how much will it fall by, right? So let me just check the levels here. So it will fall at most by like 7.5, 8%. इतने तक आएगा. And then it is likely to re-enter this channel. So the downside at this juncture is not very, very high. Now you'll say 7% तो बहुत होता है, right? So no. So you have to think things in an absolute worst case scenario, right? I'm speaking about the worst case scenario here कि 7.5, 8% fall might happen, right? And you need to relate it to whatever is happening in the market. So right now the markets are quite high in a way. They have been giving good run up. And IT industry, if you check that how much is it trading from the peak, you will see कि यार it is trading at 28. अब इसमें 7% और fall हो जाएगा. So definitely then you can say that from a valuation point of view, IT industries are good. It's not as if that AI is going to evaporate the IT industry in the next 3 years only. खत्म सब कुछ 3 साल में AI industry will overpower everything. No, that will take time even if that were to happen. Similarly, it's not as if that the existing contracts that IT companies have with the US or European counterparts, they will be suddenly evaporated, right? उनके लंबे multi-year contracts होते हैं for maintaining things and all that stuff. So those will still exist. At least domestically, IT companies are going to get some work, right? So that all stuff is going to play out. And on top of that, there is like a 30% discount, so to say, that is happening in the IT domain. So if you have built your positions recently, it's not a problem. But yes, if you are here and you might be seeing your IT stocks getting crushed by like 25-30% loss pay, then it's a separate debate because you can't downward average from here, right? For example, if IT falls till here, I'm very happy to downward average my position at this juncture. Why? Because I will get more value from this point. But yes, if you have been buying IT here, which you should not have done it in the first place, then it's a problematic scenario. So I can't talk about that. But I hope you got the perspective why selling IT right now doesn't make much sense. There is just panic being created. So you need to think a little bit more rationally. So, okay. So I was hoping to discuss more stocks around defense and pharma especially, but unfortunately I've run out of time. So what I'm going to do is that I will try to make part 2 on my Hindi channel. I will link it down in the description and comment box. Please follow me there. Please subscribe there. But I hope you enjoy this conversation. Now, if you are scared right now, okay, yaar, loss ho jayega, we'll book this, we'll book that. Okay, please go and watch this video. Through this video, you will understand where is it that you should be building your positions. These are safer stocks that you could consider building your positions on. So if you watch this video carefully, you will understand a lot of interesting points. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Do press the like button and I will see you soon.